In the quiet corridors of modern medicine, where every heartbeat is measured and every cell is catalogued, there are stories that defy explanation. These are the moments when science, with all its certainties, falls silent. For every law of biology we hold true, there exists an anomaly, a case that refuses to fit. Today, we journey into the shadows of the unexplained. These are not tales of myth or legend, but documented events from hospital records and peer-reviewed journals. These are the top 5 medical miracles that broke scientific reasoning. Number 5. The case of the vanishing tumor. In 1995, a man named Greg Thomas was diagnosed with terminal, inoperable cancer. His doctors gave him a prognosis of mere months. The tumor had wrapped itself around major arteries, making surgery impossible and chemotherapy ineffective. Resigned to his fate, Thomas decided to spend his final days in a way he found meaningful, by walking through the quiet landscapes near his home. He walked every day for miles with no medical objective other than to find a measure of peace. Months passed, then a year. His doctors, surprised he was still alive, performed a new set of scans. What they found was not just remission, but a complete absence of the tumor. Not shrunk, not dormant, but entirely vanished, leaving behind only faint scar tissue. They could offer no biological mechanism, no delayed response to treatment to explain how a man could simply walk away from a terminal diagnosis. The body, it seems, sometimes follows a logic of its own. Number 4. The man who survived internal decapitation. In 2007, a car crash subjected Marcos Parra to a force so violent it caused an orthopedic internal decapitation. This is a catastrophic injury where the skull detaches from the spinal column. The survival rate is effectively 0. Most die instantly. Parra was not only alive but conscious when first responders arrived. At the hospital, a team led by a brilliant surgeon faced an impossible task. They had to reattach his head. Using a complex system of screws, rods, and a halo vest, they began the delicate process of realigning bone and fusing the separated vertebrae. The odds were astronomically against him. Yet, against all known medical precedent, the surgery was a success. More astonishingly, Parra regained almost full mobility. Doctors still refer to his recovery as an event that fundamentally challenged their understanding of the limits of human resilience. He didn't just survive the unsurvivable, he thrived. Number 3. The woman frozen solid. In the winter of 1980, Jean Hilliard's car stalled on a remote Minnesota road. Dressed in light winter clothing, she attempted to walk to a friend's house 2 miles away. She collapsed just feet from the door, where she lay for 6 hours in temperatures of 22 degrees below zero. When she was found, she was frozen solid. Her skin was too hard to be pierced by a hypodermic needle. Her eyes were frozen open. Medically, she was gone. Her body was transported to the local hospital, where doctors saw little hope. They couldn't even take her temperature because no thermometer could register that low. But as they placed warming packs on her body, something impossible began to happen. She slowly thawed. By morning, she was conscious and speaking. Within days, she had no signs of permanent damage, not even frostbite. Her cells, which should have been shattered by ice crystals, had somehow been preserved. It remains one of the most profound documented cases of human hibernation, a physiological event that science still struggles to fully comprehend. Number 2. The spontaneous remission of HIV. For decades, HIV was considered a life sentence. A retrovirus that integrates itself into a person's DNA, it was thought to be incurable. But then came the case of Loreen Willenberg. Diagnosed in 1992, Willenberg never took antiviral medication. She is what is known as an elite controller, one of a tiny fraction of patients whose immune systems naturally suppress the virus. But Willenberg's case is even more unique. After decades of tests, Scientists from the Reagan Institute of MIT and Harvard conducted an exhaustive analysis of over 1 billion of her cells. They found no intact copies of the virus anywhere in her body. It hadn't been just suppressed, it had been cleared. Her immune system had somehow hunted down and eliminated every last reservoir of the virus from her DNA. She is considered the first person to be naturally cured of HIV, a biological feat that scientists are now studying intensely, hoping to unlock a secret that could save millions. Number 1. In 2007, a 44-year-old French civil servant went to the hospital complaining of mild weakness in his leg. A routine brain scan revealed something that left the medical community in stunned disbelief. The man's skull was not filled with a brain, but mostly with fluid. A condition known as hydrocephalus had, over decades, compressed his brain tissue into a thin layer pressed against the inside of his skull. He was living, working, and functioning with less than 25% of a normal brain. This wasn't just a man who could function. He was a married father of 2 with an IQ of 75, which, while below average, did not classify him as mentally disabled. He held a job and lived a completely normal life. This case forces us to ask a fundamental question: what is consciousness? If a person can live a full life with a fraction of a brain, what does that say about the relationship between our physical minds and our identities? It suggests that the organ we believe to be the seat of our entire existence may operate in ways we are not even close to understanding. The human body is not a machine, it is a mystery. These cases are not just anomalies, they are signposts pointing toward a deeper reality that science has yet to map. They remind us that within our own biology lies a potential for healing and survival that transcends our current understanding. The truth doesn't disappear, it simply waits in the quiet spaces between what we know and what we have yet to discover. Thank you for joining us. If you seek to understand the hidden patterns of our world, subscribe and follow for more.